All right, Fresh. It's the weekend where we start deciding who's going to go off to the Super Bowl. Let's start with the first game right off jump. This one's going to be played on Sunday at 3:00. This game is going to be in Baltimore. The Kansas City Chiefs going on the road last week to Buffalo, winning a big game over there in the snowy conditions out there, very cold. They got to travel again on the road. They're going to Baltimore to face the Ravens. They dispatched the Texans real easily. At time of record, the Ravens are a 3.5-point favorite. Over under is set at 44.5. Fresh, it's not going to be as cold there this go around. How do you see Kansas City and Baltimore going down?
Well, I mean, I think it's amazing where you have one of the greatest quarterbacks of our current age right now, Patrick Mahomes. Won MVPs, all that fun stuff, taking on who I believe will be the MVP this year, Lamar Jackson. The first ever AFC Championship game in Baltimore. I know as Cleveland fans are still kind of bittersweet. It's their success they're having and kind of this pain to deal with. But what they have done there in Baltimore, they've built that up, and this team just continues to just recycle, recharge, and reload, and keep themselves in the playoff conversation. And what they've built as an organization, top to bottom, truly has become evident, and their investment in Lamar Jackson is starting to really pay off. Before I really dive into the game, there's something really cool also about this upcoming matchup. There are 3 teams in the Super Bowl era that have averaged 25-plus points a game, led the NFL in rushing offense, and led the NFL in scoring defense. The first one was the 72 Dolphins. The next one was the 85 Bears. And then this year's Baltimore Ravens. The previous 2 combined for 1 loss and 2 Super Bowls. That's just a very lofty air, and it's quite the feat when you start thinking of it. They run the ball, they play amazing defense, and they score points at will. And this Baltimore Ravens team, they've done it differently. Those previous 2, they have big-time running backs, and they fed the ball to the running backs and play great defense. This year, Lamar Jackson is that running back number 1, and they've been rotating guys in behind them to sort of fill in that 2 and 3 role and churn out the yards on the ground. Right now, we're going to see, a group of backs, but Dalvin, Cook's going to get a chance to really showcase himself and what kind of energy he has left in the backfield to help the Ravens on Sunday. Looking at the Chiefs start off with, last week, we finally saw the Chiefs offense kind of look normal, productive, competent. MVS actually catching the football on multiple occasions, Kelsey catching a couple of touchdowns. It caught everybody off guard. You'd think that Buffalo would have shown up and played some defense and locked that down. That team found themselves. They went back to last year's squad and were able to put points on the board. You look maybe out of swagger. Maybe going on the road was the right kick in the butt that this team needed all year to put them in some adversity. They showed up and they took care of business against Buffalo defense. Granted, that Buffalo defense dealt with a lot of injuries this year. Linebacker, so obviously left up some matchup situations for Kelsey in those mid-range receiving and not be able to really put the full weight of that defense against Pacheco. But lo and behold, they still took care of business when everyone kind of doubted them, and they came away with the win. This week, they're going to be facing a much better defense and a much healthier defense. You obviously have Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith at inside linebacker, both sides. The 2 of them are absolute studs. Kyle Hamilton going to get a lot of time covering Kelsey there in the slot. Humphrey at corner, a host of defensive linemen. This Ravens defense, year over year, doesn't matter if it's, the Ray Lewis teams back in the day rotating through, they just find dudes who can play football. And they're going to come into this ball game with everything, in front of them to take advantage of. They've shut down multiple teams, including the Lions, the 49ers this year, the Dolphins as well. This challenge is another one of them in their line. How do the Chiefs attack this defense? This defense has been able to take care of business left and right, whether it's, how do you protect Patrick Mahomes? How do you able to establish a running game? Because all those other teams we just named that they've destroyed, they're run heavy. The Dolphins run the ball a lot. The 49ers run the ball a lot. The Lions run the ball a lot. All 3 of them had their running game taken away. What makes the Chiefs go this year is Pacheco. If Pacheco's not hunting and he's not churning out yards, where's Mahomes going to go through play action? It's not going to exist. Hamilton's going to be covering Kelsey. So we're going to have to rely on Rice, MVS, etc. Which of these receivers is going to get some separation and make plays? The offensive line, how are they going to hold up against a pass rush? Jawan Taylor is good for another 3 to 4 false starts in this ball game. How do they keep themselves within the down and distance and get something out of a running game and be able to get the passing game going? They're going to have to throw a lot on this Ravens defense to win. Where's this Mahomes magic going to come from? And where's the team going to step up and defend their Super Bowl championship, their AFC title last year? and really put themselves out here and play their best game. It's very tough to see. It's gonna really take a very fine-tooth comb effort from the Chiefs executing on every single level to really dominate and get after this Ravens defense. Defensively, the Chiefs defense is going to have to be 100% on point and play their best game. Josh Allen, that Bills team, they still put some points up. You're playing a much more lethal Ravens offense this week. How do you dominate? I got a feeling Mark Andrews will be back. So now you have the tight end who's probably not going to get full accompaniment of snaps, but he's definitely going to be involved in that offense. Zay Flowers, OBJ, and Lamar just doing his thing with the host of running backs. And Todd Monken has really changed his offense and his play calling has given them some more freedom. How does this Chiefs defense corral Lamar and the Ravens? Where's Chris Jones going to be? Are they going to line up at nose? Are they going to put him at end? How are they going to manipulate the linebacker situation? Are they going to, putting a spy on Lamar? Where is this going to come from? How is this defense going to really change the kind of course they did last week versus Buffalo and become after a much more athletic and speedy quarterback in Lamar with more competent receivers? I'm saying it right now. Stephon Diggs was not a competent receiver this year. He's not himself. The other guys, Sharif, Gabe Davis was banged up, didn't obviously play. They had, two tight ends working out there, but they weren't the same offense in Buffalo they are in Baltimore right now. How does this defense take that effort and change it this week and sort of show up? They're going to have to blitz a lot. I think you got to put pressure on Lamar, contain him, do not let him escape the pocket, force him to try to beat you, and do not let them establish the running game. If they establish a running game, then play action comes into play, then bootlegs, anything off of that becomes a really big factor. You've got to get after him, force him into quick situations. Do not give him a chance to really read the defense and break down the defense and take off. Obviously, the Chiefs' defense is veteran loaded, but how do they show up this week? Jarius Sneed, are you going to be following Flowers? Are you going to be taking OBJ? Who are you going to lock down and let the rest of that Chiefs defense sort of dominate? It's going to be very, very critical for them to limit Baltimore to 20 points or less because Baltimore gets going early. It's going to be good night at the ring, and they're going to blow the trash out of them like they've done everybody else. This is going to have to be a perfect game from the Chiefs from a coaching perspective and a player's perspective. They've been able to sort of get by. They didn't play exactly perfect versus Buffalo, but if they play like that early on versus the Ravens will steamroll them like they have everybody else. They force turnovers left and right, and they dominate with the pass rush, and that's how they get it done. Looking at the Ravens, don't let the moment be too big. You have dominated everybody else. You've taken care of big matchups, and you've won them at home. You've won them on the road. Come into this ballgame with your focus in of this is just another football game. Let your defense go out there, tackle at the point of contact. Do not let Pacheco get going. Do not let that play action get going. And defensively, keep those turnovers coming. Keep attacking the Chiefs. Do not let Mahomes get comfortable because Mahomes can do it. We've seen it many, many times where somehow he just starts running around and making things happen, even on like a 1.5 leg sometimes, and somehow they win the ballgame. Do not give the Chiefs any life because late in the ballgame, if they're hanging around, you might be sorry. You've got to come after it early and shut it down and make them one-dimensional. Put the faith that Chiefs back-to-back Super Bowl run in the hands of an MVS, in the hands of a Rashee Rice, in the hands of a Kadarius Toney who may or may not even play. Put in the receivers guys to step up. Do not let Pacheco and Kelsey beat you. The rest of those guys put the pressure on them. They might choke because they have in the past. Challenge them. Hit them at the line of scrimmage. Be physical with them. Let the Chiefs know that you're there and that the Chiefs know they're not comfortable playing this football game. Offensively, Lamar, do your thing, son. Maintain the football. Don't turn over. Do not let the moment get too big. Be calm. If it's not there, use your athletic ability. You're an MVP caliber player. You have a chance to really do something special. Be within yourself. Do not let the moment get too big. If you let the moment get too big, the veteran Chiefs football team will eventually have some steam and be able to survive. Attack. Take your shots. This Chiefs defense is very good. Do not underestimate them. You don't have to get everything in one play. Manage your down and distance. When you have a chance, take a shot, but do not live and die by the deep ball. Use your offense in every way it's built. I know Todd Monken's going to come out there with a lot of special, build-in packages. You're going to see a lot of quarterback run builds in. Play it as it is. 3 yards, 4 yards every single play. Dominate, control, keep Mahomes on the sideline. Touchdowns, not field goals, will win. Even though you have the best kicker in the league, touchdowns will beat the Chiefs, not field goals. That's a storyline no matter what you're seeing. I think this crowd's going to be nasty loud. I can't compare it to Arrowhead. Arrowhead's always in a weird environment and a great fan base, and they get loud there. But the Baltimore fans will stand up. They will do it proud. The Ravens will go to the Super Bowl. They will take care of business. They are going to win 34-21. Baltimore's going to head on to Vegas. We're going to see another Harbaugh potentially playing for a championship.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Fresh will be on the sidelines in his purple crop top being a cheerleader for the Ravens there. Holy smokes there, Freshly. I don't know what in the world. Maybe we're just seeing two different totally things here. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs is working on slowly becoming this generation's dynasty. We've said the same things about Mahomes right now that we were seeing very early on in the New England dynasty. Everyone was always looking for that moment, that kink in the armor, saying, "Oh, Brady and the Patriots, they don't have it. You know, Belichick is past his prime." And at the end of the run, yeah, they got there to it, but that's because Brady had gotten there up there in age, and it wasn't just the same team. Some other teams had really caught up to them. But early on in the Patriot run, this was kind of something similar that we saw. We saw a team like Kansas City, you know, they go kind of coast through the regular season, and then when they get to the playoffs, they flip a switch. Look what they did to Miami. Miami was one of the top scoring offenses. They go into Arrowhead, they completely shut down. I get it. Arctic game, what have you. You've gone on the road first time, hostile environment, go in there and really do put the boots to Buffalo. The game was close throughout there, but again, you forced Buffalo to make those mistakes. Kansas City is that team that you're going to have to squash them out. Like it's not going to be an easy go for the Ravens in this. It's not going to be one of the things where the Ravens are just going to flex their muscle and then all of a sudden the Chiefs are going to go, "Ooh, you know, big bad Edgar Allan Poe Ravens here going on. You know, I got 3 mascots instead of 1. What the heck is going on the sidelines there?" I got questions about Baltimore mascot Ravens and later on, but we'll get to that. This is the type where as you said, if you let Mahomes have an opportunity, he's never going to get you out of the game. Travis Kelce's never going to let Kansas City be out of a game. Yes, Baltimore may win this football game. It may be true. But it's going to take a just absolute domination effort from the Ravens. And the fact that you're talking about an opportunity where the spread in this game is 3.5. You're picking a double-digit win. I can't tell you when the last time I saw like something as good as this come into play. I don't see what you're seeing at all. You know, take a look at how well Pacheco's played throughout the playoffs there. He did struggle a little bit more in that Buffalo game as well, but he's run very, very hard in every single game that I've seen him play. I've been impressed with George Kalifas, you know, playing opposite of Chris Jones. I think that's starting to open up quite a bit more for him. I know this isn't the star-studded receiver class that Mahomes is used to. You know, Rashid Rice is coming into his own nicely, but I think there's still work to do, but I'm never discounting Travis Kelce in the football game. As for Baltimore, they're a very, very good team. I still don't feel like they are an elite team. My problem is CJ Stroud never got sacked once last week. That vaunted pass rush of the Ravens never got back. What?
They scored 3 points. They scored 3 points
against CJ Stroud and Texans. You have to beat Mahomes. Again, I like what CJ Stroud did. Very happy for the young man. But you got to be out your damn mind to think that he is in the same class as Patrick Mahomes right now. Good kid. Bright future. Like him. Nice job for the Ravens. Not in Mahomes' class yet. I need to see more out of the defense. They need to get to Mahomes at least 3 or 4 times. Mahomes, the best way that they're going to do it, they got to get pass rush up the middle of that offensive line. Mahomes is too shifty to, if you give him an opportunity to step up, he can't, like Allen, he's not as prolific as a runner as Josh Allen or Lamar, but he does have the ability there. You have to get that pressure right there in his face. That's going to be the way that you're going to beat them. On offense, it is going to come down to Lamar, what he's going to do. Is he going to be able to still complete 72% of his passes? Is Baltimore going to be able to get 100 yards rushing out of him? If they're not able to run the ball with Lamar in this game, let's say he's carried the ball 6 times in the first half and he's got 10 yards. 12 yards in this as well, is are you going to get that rushing attack from Gus Edwards or Justice Hill? Are you going to be able to get that stuff from them? And then, while I like OBJ, I like Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman's had a nice playoff so far. He had a nice game last week. You got Likely, the tight end. He spread the ball around. But in this game, to beat a team like Kansas City, one of those wide receivers has got to have a day. And I mean, he's got to step up. We need 9 to 10 catches out of him, 100-plus yards. I don't know if that's going to be OBJ. I don't know if that's going to be Zay Flowers. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't trust them to do all of those things that are necessary to beat a budding dynasty. And let's call it for what it is. You don't get play in how many AFC Championship games in a row? You don't play in how many Super Bowls over the last 5 years to get to this point? This is a dynasty. This is a dynasty that's building there in Kansas City. They get past the Ravens here. Guess what? It's proving that you can never doubt Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the playoffs. There's no way I'm picking Baltimore in this game. And the reason being is I don't trust the wide receiver group. I like the defense enough, but I don't trust the wide receiver group. I'm nervous that they're going to put everything on Lamar. But here's my problem with it. Until I see a team not in the AFC knock out Kansas City, I'm not picking against them.
That's fair. I mean, I got to ask, is this a little bit of the Cleveland Browns anti-Ravens little twist in there as well?
I mean, again, I have no love for the dirty rat birds that have wings, but I will say this. If I felt like they're the better team, I've always been able to, how many times I hate Dabo Swinney and how many times have I picked Clemson to win?
All right. Yeah, okay. You picked them to beat, some teams. I'll give you that.
Right. So I'm going with Kansas City just because, again, I'll say 27-21. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it is going to be a late score in the game. Kansas City pulls away, but it is because Baltimore lets Mahomes hang around in this game.
I think it'll be a fantastic affair on Sunday afternoon either way, though.
Yeah, I'm planning on going 0 for 2 this weekend, though, so we'll see how it all works out.